Hello and welcome back to It'll Be Fine. I'm your host, Erica Bell. This is the podcast where I remind myself and hopefully you that everything is going to be okay. So there's been a bit of a delay in the podcast, and I'm so happy to be back here. It has been a handful of months. So when I started the podcast, I really wanted this to be like a fun passion project. I love my job. I'm a home organizer, have my own business. Check out organizewithe.com in case you're interested in that. But anyways, I love my business and I have a YouTube page for organizing and travel things. And I also love doing that, but it's a lot of work. So I wanted something that was going to be a true passion project for me, something that was just another creative outlet that I didn't want to stress about, So I kind of just got very busy and I felt like trying to add the podcast back in was just causing me more stress than the opposite. I was really needing a true break. Like on the weekends, I need to be able to, spend time with my kids and my husband and spend time together as a family when we're not just like day-to-day grind, right? So that is what the break has been about, but I am happy to be back and I'm hoping that it will be able to be more consistent. The other thing, I just feel like we've had a lot going on. So let's see. I think I did the last one kind of in spring. So spring, summer, it's now fall. We are in October. Kids are definitely back in school. Now we're like in the full holiday swing of things. I love this time of year and I try to do my best just to hold on to it as tightly as I can because I know how fast it's going to go by. So trying to enjoy it. Like I said, I just feel like we've had so much happening. I have been sick for like 2 freaking months with this allergy sinus crud. Now my husband has it. He's had it for like a month. Just went back to the doctor today, wondering if he has pneumonia. I have a friend who's recovering from pneumonia. Just weird sicknesses. The kids have been, had a stomach bug, had another virus. So that's been weird. So along with that, there's nothing worse, right, than not feeling your best. It just when you're normally pretty healthy and then you go from that to just kind of getting kicked in the stomach, just feeling like crap all the time, it just puts you in the worst mood, the worst headspace. Then along with that, I got picked for jury duty. So I am one of those people that I am happy to go to jury duty. I just really feel like it's your duty to do. Like I never try to get out of it. I just enjoy the whole process. So I actually did get picked to be on a jury and I served in a murder trial. So, all right, I am like a crime junkie. I like the Law and Order stuff. I like crime podcasts, all of that. After going through this though, I have to stay away from it. It took so much of an emotional toll on me, way more so than I ever expected, because I thought that it would be very interesting. And the process, of course, was really interesting, but I had no idea how heavy it would weigh on me. Seeing pictures of the deceased in my head, seeing pictures of her child, wondering about the child that she lost who is now an adult, or who lost her, who is now an adult, who witnessed part of this crime. It was just a lot. And like I said, because I was kind of like, I'm fascinated by our legal system. I'm fascinated by kind of why people do certain things. And I just find it all very interesting. I thought that I just had no idea the toll it would take on me. And it was, I didn't even want, obviously during the trial, you can't talk about it, but even as it's been done, I really haven't wanted to talk about it all that much. I've served on a jury before, and it was for a criminal case, but it wasn't a murder case. It was a petty theft type of case. And I didn't, it was pretty clear, but also like I, I want to believe the best in people. And it is hard for me to be black and white. And of course, when you're on a jury, you all have to come to a unanimous decision. This person did it or they didn't do it. They obviously, I'm oversimplifying it, but I had a really hard time with what we were instructed to do, in that we just, you will never know unless something is like completely caught on camera. You just never know truly what happened. There's different sides to the story, or, only God knows really what happened. And so the things that were unclear about the case, it was difficult for me to just say so openly and surely that, yes, this is how it went down. So we deliberated for hours. We almost ended up, kind of calling it for the day, because it got late. We were all tired, but then we did reach a decision. But again, I just don't think that I am very good in those types of situations, where I thought I would be, but I think I'm just not black and white, right? And there's so many things that aren't clear cut like that. Again, man, it was difficult for me. So along with that, again, I was sick during the process. I was trying not to hack up along and, use all these tissues when I'm on the stand, not on the stand, but in the jury box. It was really interesting, all the different people. It was quite the experience. But yeah, so I was sick during that. So already physically I was exhausted, and then emotionally I was exhausted. And then pretty much that same week or the week before, I had one near-death experience with my son, and then another really traumatic experience with my son. So we did not know, like, the garage door was open. We did not know. He loves to play in our yard, all this stuff. And anyways, he just got out, and we saw him, and then we saw a car come by, and we were just really, really scared. Like, oh my gosh, he just almost got hit by a car. Like, your mind just goes to the worst place. And so, of course, we are double, triple checking to lock the garage door. Anyways, we didn't see all of that go down. It was so scary. That is how things happen with kids. I am always on him because he's just my baby. He's 3 years old. He is still learning how to really take directions well, right? And when you put your guard down, or you look away for 1 second, or you think someone else is watching your kid, however it goes down, that's when things happen. So it was just so crazy. And then another instance, which this probably, I don't know if it's the worst thing that has happened in my life, but it's definitely probably the worst thing, or at least one of the worst things that has happened to me as a parent. And I can honestly say that I have never had this panic set in. So we were on, and this is, again, I didn't even want to talk about it because I was so sick from it. So we went to our gym, and they have an elevator. So a lot of times when the kids go, because they have childcare there, we'll take the stairs either up or down, and then we'll take the elevator, whichever way we don't use the stairs, right? So we took the elevator down, and my son was touching the door and kind of tracing the door, holding the door open with his hand almost. Like, so the door had shut, we reached the ground level, the door was then opening, and his hand got caught in the jamb of the elevator. And I have never had a moment like that. I'm trying to pry the door open. I'm pressing the buttons to have the door move so he can get his fingers out. I am fully thinking that his fingers are going to be ripped off. I'm thinking I'm going to be seeing this bloody scene. And it was one of those things that happened in slow motion. I saw it kind of go down, but not quickly enough to snatch his hand back to get it out of there. It's gonna hurt you. And of course he didn't know. He's just kind of tracing the door, just kind of letting the door take his hand, kind of, almost feeling like he's opening it, right? And so I'm pressing the buttons, I'm pressing the call button, I'm pressing the alarm button. So in my head, either the alarm button on an elevator or the call button, I am thinking is going to go to 911. the fire department, somewhere that can help you if you get stuck in an elevator, if something happens. It was like a recording. I don't even know what it said because I was screaming. I was screaming for, so in this elevator, it opens into just like this empty kind of waiting room. So no one was in there. No one would have been able to hear us. The only people that would have heard us were people that were taking the stairs outside going to the gym. But I'm trying not to, I'm in between this elevator trying to get his hand out, but trying to scream for help for people, anyone that's like passing by. Again, I'm pressing all the buttons on the elevator. I'm thinking that it's going to call someone. Nothing. I heard kind of an automated thing. And finally, after I'm thinking about to pull my phone out to call 911, I thought this like superhuman mom strength would kick in and somehow, you know how moms can flip cars when something happened, you know, so I'm thinking I'm going to be able to pry this door back open to loosen his fingers from it. That didn't happen, but finally he must have straightened his hand just enough or somehow wiggled his hand out. He got his fingers out. He's bawling. I'm about to throw up. I'm just feeling so sick. I'm shaking. The adrenaline is just coursing through my veins. It was awful. His fingers were just fine. They were a little probably swollen, but even no bruising. So I think it was one of those things that it just seemed so much worse than it really was. I was just panicked. You know, if any of you guys have been stuck in an elevator or something's happened, please let me know if you've called and like what happens. So I actually talked to the people at the gym, and the guy that works up front, he was like, oh my goodness, I just saw a video about this happening. Someone getting their hand stuck. And he's like, this is crazy. So they're going to make sure that the elevator maintenance is working properly. Also at the gym, it's a PT place. So in my head, I'm thinking, what if someone falls in the elevator and they can't get out of there? They've got to be able to call for help. There's got to be better safety mechanisms in there, a safety protocol. So they assured me they were looking into it. Again, I've never been stuck in an elevator. I've never had an emergency situation in an elevator, so I don't know what's supposed to happen. But I just feel like something should have happened. And it was strange that I couldn't even press the open button on the elevator doors to at least kind of get them moving again. Oh, so yeah, I can talk about it more calmly now, but it's still, even as I'm recapping it, it just makes me feel so sick. It was so freaking scary. Yeah, it was just so scary. So it's just been a weird time. And again, like I said, I'm still kind of getting over feeling like crap, but I do feel like I was in this emotional, mental, physical, everything kind of rut. And now I'm getting over that quote unquote hangover from it. So if you are feeling like that too, just know that it will get better. I think there's something really special about the holiday time and just the fall into winter. There's so many things going on, so many wonderful holidays, fun events, fun parties. It kind of breaks you out of your normal routine and the normal rut and into something more magical, more special. So I finally feel like I'm in a better mood, even though, again, I don't feel 100%, which I'm so freaking sick of, but I feel like I'm kind of getting over these weird things that have been going on and I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So if you are kind of feeling stuck, know that it'll get better. Focus on the fun things happening this season. Try to lean into that as much as you can. And sometimes just letting time pass is helpful too. Oh, the other thing that went on, my husband and I got in a nice argument around politics. Is anyone else having this? You know, like part of me enjoys that we can now talk more openly about politics, religion, money, whatever, you know. But then there's another part of me that's like, I understand why those topics used to be so taboo and why they were off limits. It just can be such nasty commentary, such nasty back and forth. And so we got in a nice little tiff. I tend to hold on to things pretty, like he's really great and it's such an inspiration. He's quick to forgive people at least that he's really close with, and get over things. And I've always admired that about him. I hold on to things and I kind of spiral in the fact that I'm like, well, if this was the conversation, I make it bigger than it is sometimes. But I'm like, well, if we can't agree on this, what does that mean? And sometimes it's just a stupid comment, or sometimes it doesn't mean as much as you think it does, right? So that is past us. We're in a good place. Hallelujah. I'll tell you what, like, I was kind of excited for this election. There is something interesting and exciting about a presidential election year. But man, if I get one more damn phone call or text message or mail flyer, I'm just over it. I'm just going to lose my mind. I am excited that the election is close, although I am nervous for what's to come, no matter who, it becomes the next president. I just think even though it's exciting, it's just a strange time. I feel like the last handful of elections have just been, I don't know, tumultuous. Maybe they're all like this. I haven't lived that long, right? I'm mid 30s. I haven't seen all that many elections that I've really been like invested in. And I try to stay far away from politics. I don't know. I struggle. I go back and forth, and maybe you guys can relate to this. I go back and forth between wanting to be involved and educated and in the know about things happening in government and politics, all of this. But then the other part of me is like, I don't believe half of these people. I feel like they just lie and scheme to get their way, and our system is so corrupt. So it's like I teeter back and forth between those two things. So yeah, I will be happy in a couple weeks, only a couple weeks away, which is insane. Yeah, for that to just kind of go away and then see this next kind of chapter for America, right? So that is what's been going on with me. Again, if you're kind of stuck, I wish you the best. I know that it will get better. I pray that it will get better for you. I'm happy to report that I'm on the other side of that. And I hope to be more consistent with the podcast. I miss talking with you guys, and I'm happy to be here. I look forward to having some new guests. So a couple of topics that I know I want to bring on my brother, because he's awesome, just to talk about sibling stuff and just, I don't know, just a variety of things, right? So he can sometimes he sees things differently than I do. So I have two older brothers. One lives about a mile away from me, and the other one lives in Fiji. So hopefully I can have both of them on at some point or another. But anyways, so I look forward to having one or both of them on. And I also read a book recently, and I've listened to a couple podcasts about menopause. I'm going to have a guest on talking about that topic, which I'm finding really fascinating the more I learn about it, even though I'm not there yet, but it's just really interesting, and I know it'll be here before I know it. So stay tuned for some new guests. If you have anyone that you would like to see me interview, let me know. Or if you yourself would like to be on the podcast, please get in touch, and I will talk to you soon.